And I am live, everybody. Hello, hello, hello from the Rancho here in Santa Rosa, California. Got back here about 2 hours ago after stopping to see the boss and Janet on the way back to town. I want to say hello to everybody. It's strange to be sitting in front of something that's not a cell phone. Sitting here looking at a webcam. So welcome to all of you. I am very happy to be back. The Rancho is in outstanding order. There's so much to talk about. I'm not going to make this, hey Quinny, how you doing, babe? Hey Nocturnal. I'm not going to make this a long hangout tonight. I know there's other things going on in the communities this evening, but 10,443 miles and 47 days later, I am back in the on the Rancho. Mallory Williams, nice to see you. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. I know it's so hard. Thank you, Dagan. Hey, Jay. It is so hard. Hey, Jeffrey. Thank you, Uber Goober. It is Punky. How you doing, Silver Surfer, Tanisha? It is so hard to keep up with what's going on YouTube. You get little glimmers here and there. And Mallory's one I've sort of slipped behind. I know there's a streaming house in the works. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm just so far behind in videos that it's going to take a while. Silver Surfer, amazing you're streaming after that huge drive. Get your birthday. Mallory, how can I disown you? I'm supposedly the only trans friend you have on YouTube. Well, you know, it's caught up with me tonight. I'm going to be honest with you. One thing that I've really learned, thank you, Morning Glory. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that, Punky. Hey, Tina. One of the things that I've learned long haul driving, and I consider 10,443 miles in 47 days, the pinnacle of long haul driving. And one of the things that I've discovered is if you do a very long day, and last night, yesterday began at about 1:15 in the afternoon Mountain Time, and it ended at 2:30 in the morning Pacific Time, rolling into Reno. And it encompassed 953 miles across basically the whole breadth of Wyoming, the whole breadth of Utah, and the whole breadth of Nevada. I cannot tell you. You know, it's one thing to say it, but it's another. Pull up a map of the United States and put a pin in Cheyenne and put a pin in Reno. You're basically covering 1/3 of the United States in a day. Cobra John says, you pissed me off last night. I thought we had a good time, Cobra John. How you doing, Keith Gregory? I am home. I am home. Uh-oh, Diane C., how you doing, sweetie? So glad to see you home. I was worried all day. Well, I did the Reno thing, but the thing I'm saying is if you do a really long haul day, you're not going to sleep a lot that night. I crawled in, parked in front of the mayor's house in Reno, and I got up this morning. There were already people clinking and clanging at 7:30 getting ready for the Reno Pride. I had no idea that it was going to be Pride Parade Day. And at 7:30, I was kind of up and at 'em, looking for a place that I could get the oil changed. I did not find one that was, there were too many people waiting, and I'm going to do that here. But it's really hard to sleep because you're so wound up from the road that it just takes a while to gear down. Then the next day you feel it. The same thing happened to me when I pulled from Milwaukee to Cheyenne. That or Milwaukee to North Platte. That was a long day too. And then the next day when I rolled into Cheyenne, it's kind of no wonder I lost track of keys and all that. So it's like you do a long one, then the next day you're going to feel a lot of fatigue, and that's the case for sure today. How do you tolerate Elvis so well? I've said it before, and I don't really care. I don't give a hoot whether anybody believes it or not. Elvis in person is a different person than the persona that you see on YouTube. I spent, I don't know, from Toronto to Detroit to Chicago, Buffalo, and Milwaukee with Elvis, and we got along great. Didn't have any issues. You know, it's a very calm 3 weeks. Diane says, good, sweetie. If you like Middle Eastern food, there's a great Lebanese restaurant and also a great Israeli restaurant. I would love to try some Israeli food, Diane, and I will be down in LA before you know. When can I have airtime? I'm so anxious to get to work on Tasha's fan. I had a dream. It was a good one. It was a non-sexual dream, okay, about getting my fingers. Hey, aloha, Colleen, aloha. How are you? How are you? Thank you. Sue Pete, nice to see you, sweetie pie. I'm not saying he's a saint, but everything with people depends on the situational place that you happen to be in that time. I'm kind of an all business person. When I settle down and roll up my sleeves and say we're going to build a generator box, I don't have a lot of time for BS. And I will say to Elvis, if you ever expect to get any other work done on the van or things like that, you know, I'll have my eye on shenanigans and stuff like that. Okay, I've paid it forward in a major way. Yeah, Jen is happy to be home. I'm home. I'm going to save her for tomorrow's chooch. I've got a lot of stuff that people gave us on the road piled up here. Stuff from Joseph Kane is here from Australia. I came in Joey D. Joey D's enjoying the Vacaville cruise tonight, which is all the old cars cruising around the town of Vacaville. So he's not in the chat tonight. But I came home and Jen's like, hey, look in the refrigerator. And Joe D. Paroli had sent a beautiful a basket of fruit that they carved to look like flowers. It was great. Yeah, see you tomorrow. You'll see Jen tomorrow. I talked her head off. Oh, Elvis took credit this morning for everything on his van. One of my, says Cobra John, thank you, Bean Sprout. One of my funniest, maybe not so funny last night, and it wasn't BS, and I showed the dashboard of the car when I was running on fumes running into Wendover, Nevada last night, and that would have been a real bite to walk across a really not a great place to be broken down on just outside of the Bonneville salt flats there. And Cobra John's like, oh, okay, just turn into the Sinclair gas station at the Bonneville Flats. The prices are horrible there, but you'll make it. And I told Cobra John, hey, man, you're a gambler. Let's do this thing. Let's take a gamble on this. And he said, I'm all in on that. And we rolled up. Spanky, nice to see you. Big shout out. Thank you to Spanky Ham also for stream sniping me and being a great friend. I'm going to unblock everybody. Rancho Rashid Mack, where are you at? I did get a lot of sun. Thank you, Sandy. Most of it is trucker sun, so I can't wait to get bikinied up and get the McNamara channel and going. It's nice to see, really thrilled to see Mallory Williams in here this evening. You know, when you have people that you feel that you enjoy following, and then you know you kind of lose track. So thank you, Mark Handler. Good to see you, and thank you for your courtesy. He gave us a nice gift, which I'll be showing tomorrow. You know, there'll be a lot of things that I want to talk about on future Hangouts. Traveling, what worked and what didn't, what worked superbly and which things were a total fail on the road. The van, although some people thought it couldn't be done, that little van was a tank on the road, 30 miles to the gallon. But that van sustained a lot of wear and tear on this trip. There was a lot of physical damage done. There's parts of the undercarriage, the trim that were torn off. There were blew a tire. There's hail damage. The windshield is so micro cracked there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pinhole size dents in the windshield. Okay, and I was at the gas station, and I'm wondering, why can't I clear this, get this windshield clean? It has multiple bullet hole size cracks on it, and it's literally got thousands of tiny cracks on it. So I think that the windshield may have to be replaced. Mallory says, you're not Mitch much on my end. Just another group of yahoos trying to take me down again. Yeah, I have to be honest. There were a lot of, I did not miss a lot of the drama. I was glad to be creating the content because frankly, let me fix this thing for a minute. Yeah, there we go. Frankly, things shift so much on YouTube that today's enemies are tomorrow's friends, and today's friends are tomorrow's enemies. Yeah, Spanky's like, I saw the pitting on the camera. It's a camera. Thank you, Jody. So, hey, how you doing, Lori? Nice to see you, sweetie. So I was really thrilled. You know, I'm going to be friends with Mallory for a long time. You know, not particularly because, you know, she has her own style of stuff that she doesn't. And what I like is that she exhibits that style and is her genuine person 100%. And I love that, you know, and I just feel like you don't always, she doesn't like everything, you know, everything I do, but there's a core of understanding between us two that I really like. Driving through that hailstorm in Cheyenne on the way in was terrible. That was as close to death as I think I've ever come on the highway before. And I hope that I never run into that situation again, you know, with hydroplaning and just feeling that total loss of control on your vehicle. And the hail is coming down so fast that it's piled 6 inches deep. It looks like it looks like ice up there. Tires. Kaylee, I blew a tire, you know, in Detroit when I was chased the first night when I got into Detroit. Marshall and I were stalked by somebody. We never did figure out who it was. But in the course of trying to understand the Detroit road systems, they don't make left-hand turns the way most people do, you know, and stuff. And just in the light rain and mist, I hit a curb hard in a McDonald's and basically dented the rim. They were able to straighten out the rim, but the tire was destroyed. The van has sustained a lot of damage. It's going to need a lot of work to bring it up to par. But the bottom line is, I slept in that van for about 42 of the 47 nights. No air conditioning any night or any day. So, yeah, you know, I love you too, Mallory. I like the fact that you're you and you have backbone and you stand up and you don't stick your finger in the wind and say, gee, which way is the wind blowing today? And okay, I'm going to run to this side of the boat. Now I'm going to run to that side of the boat. Now I'm back to this side of the boat. The thing I learned is you stay put, and some people will leave you, and other people are going to come to you. We're going to miss you from Chicago. Chicago, great city, great city. Blue Jean, thank you for taking us. Yeah, it was great. 10,000 plus miles. I'm just going to run until it blows. It's almost paid off. The sleeping was good in it. It was a good deal. Yeah, Georgie is good. No, he ran outside to chase somebody down. Hey, Red Pill. So I like people that aren't influenced by parodies. They're not influenced by the opinions of others. They run their own way down the road. I really like that. Yeah, it's good to laugh at it. Be your own leader and people respect that. Exactly, Uber Goober. Let's see. We got a lot of people to thank. Susie, we're going to thank you tomorrow. Susie sent in a whole bunch of what do you call it? Jerky, Jen, or beef sticks? Delicious. I had some of them. Every dent is a memory. 10,000 miles plus miles seen or learned. Yeah, well, it wasn't for Rosie. I did okay. See, I'm just so backed up in answering people. People have sent me stuff. I've smashed my cell phone screen has been smashed. I lost a expensive key fob. They've sent me information about that. Your equipment's going to take a beating. And you got to remember, everything that I did on this trip, every little thing that I did was done by a 3x5-inch cell phone. Whether it was the Niagara Falls cinematic videos people like, the Pabst Mansion, all the chooches, all the live streams, Detroit, Toronto, Milwaukee, Buffalo, Baltimore, that was all done on a cell phone. It takes a tremendous toll on equipment. Yeah, I like you too. Colleen is very outspoken. I like that. She holds strong opinions. You have to admire. Colleen has a toughness that's born of her work experiences, I think, and her background. And if she feels something, she has a passion. I was listening to her on Tucker's, and I had a chance when I wasn't streaming to listen to a few live streams. Sometimes late at night when I'm going to sleep, I would crank them up. And, to hear Colleen talk about her personal breaking points with somebody like Elvis, and she's the kind of person that has, strength of character on there. Do like Marshall, buy some cheap crap from the fifth. Right now I have the Galaxy S9 Plus, which has been fantastic. I may step up to the Galaxy S10 Plus. I have to take some time. I was determined with the monetization things on the channels, and I wasn't going to take a moment on the trip to waste time trying to rejig on the channel. So I just pushed that stuff off till I get home. And then, I'm not going to let that be my priority. Maybe a couple weeks or a month, I'll have things into shape to secure the monetization. But you can't let that stuff lead you. You have to lead with your environment that you're in at the moment. And if you're in Toronto and you don't want to be sitting on the computer, trying to remove videos. And I removed over, I think, one time I peaked out over 10,000 videos, and I know I removed 1 million views over the last, before I went away. And the channel's still up at 13 million views today. Woohoo, I'm home, Mouse Toes. Mouse Toes, what a great dish you made on your video. Make sure to check out Mouse Toes, my wonderful moderator here. She's also a hell of a cook too, as she demonstrated today. Joey D, thank you for your wonderful gift. When I got home, I was fruit and vegetable deficient, and I dove into that fruit. How you doing, forever friend? When are we getting a bikini? Well, we'll have something tomorrow on the McNamara channel. And, when I came, I'm going to tell you guys, this heat ain't no joke. I've been blasted with heat for days. And last night it was cool in the van. It was about 59 degrees up in Reno, I think, at about 5 a.m. this morning. When we came in, it was 64 degrees. But by about 10 o'clock, it was 90 in Reno already. And when I came down off of the Sierra Mountains and left Reno, I hit the valley floor of the Central Valley. And on my thermometer, and I have the picture proof of it, rolling down the road, it was 110 degrees rolling across the Central Valley. And it was 105 at Janet's place. So it ain't no joke. Sammy Jacks. There's my girl. How you doing, Sammy Jacks? Yeah, I'm going to sleep in a bed tonight for the first time in 42 days. It's hard to believe. Thank you, Sweet Meadow. Thank you, Flan. We have your thing here, too. I have so much stuff from the road, from the lovely KM up in Toronto, and the Queen of Buffalo, Bella Rose, and so many people gave gifts and things from. I got a lot of stuff from Missy Jenn too. But anyway, that heat's no joke. So I was talking to Marshall. Hey, I'm here. I was talking to Marshall today. He was talking about maybe taking off the algodondas. I said, be very careful, man. You are not used to the searing, dehydrating heat of the Southwest. It can wipe you out. So yeah, AC makes it all good, but there was many a night I kind of just gritted my teeth in Detroit and in Chicago and just crawled in at 88 degrees and just, you're not going to leave the windows down in Detroit and stuff, right? And the doors. So I'm in the box and I'm just thinking, okay, find your center. You're in a Native American sweat tent. You're in a Native American sweat tent and just get through the night. That's all you had to do. Thank you, Judith. I think physically I came through the trip in good shape. Maintaining hygiene on the road is critical. Yeah, you can get dental work. You can get dental work down there. Mr. Z was super smooth. Thank you forever, friend. Thank you, sweetie. Yeah, I grew up in Baltimore in a row house, and we just never had. Thank you, Joan Ann. We just never had AC. We didn't know it existed. Yeah, some baking videos will be coming. I need to get some sunshine. On the 16th, I was talking to the boss and Janet. On the 16th of August, going to be going out doing some fishing again, some rock cod and salmon fishing. Hopefully on the 16th. I'm waiting to get a call from the captain, and then on the 18th of August, I'll probably be taking off for Las Vegas for a week. It's kind of pushing it back a week, but I had to kind of work around their schedule. Thank you, Blue Jeans. We only hit 100. I'll tell you what, Joey D, passing through Davis, California, 110 degrees came up on my thermometer. I thought, my goodness. We're coming to the end of the season. I think it shuts down in August, so we need to get this or in the end of August. So we need to get that done. I'm not sure. Yeah, Sammy and I need man super chat and a time slot. Yeah, you guys are great. You guys are great. So some things work well. Yeah, Niagara. I've now made Niagara Falls on the boat my thumbnail. It's my gateway video. Now I think that'll be a little better. It'd be more welcoming. Now that I have the Rosie McNamara channel to express my personal. I feel like as long as I have an outlet to shake it but don't break it, then I'll feel happy. So the bikini baking, all of that stuff will be transferring over to, we'll be going over that channel. Yeah, I had a lot of great feedback on that Niagara Falls video. Just take video, put people in it, move the camera a lot, and you can have some good, yeah, Sacramento area was I was 95 when I got here. Yeah, I don't think Missy Jenn was impressed with the can of Tim Hortons coffee. I thought she'd be jumping up and down. But I'm the one that drank it in Toronto, not her. And then it tasted like shit in Detroit. So yeah, put your feet up and get some sleep. So we got a lot of beach stuff coming up later. You know, the summer's about halfway through. We have the epic trip down the she's holding the can now. We have the epic trip down the California coast, the Pacific Coast Highway, which should be good. So I'll be doing a video about what worked great and what didn't in my travels. You know, a lot I've had to endure also. I have to talk about the dark side of YouTube. There was many a night I laid in that van, and I'm not a person that immediately can go to sleep unless I'm super tired. So what do? You click on replay or catch live YouTube hangouts, and it's kind of disconcerting to hear yourself be the topic of conversation and hear a lot of BS and a lot of history rewriting that's being done, and you kind of find yourself torn whether you want to have a day where you just want to let it all loose, boom, load the cannon and just let it all loose so people really know the reality. And then you find yourself holding back and thinking to yourself, is this what you really want to be about? And it's not something I ever have been about. So, it's like a 50-50. Oh, you like that Canadian Pride, Mallory? Did you see the Reno Pride today? That was pretty cool. What was going on? I already said hi to you, Mark. I can't always see everybody. Hey, Charlie Lynn, how are you? And if you're going to be a person that gets so upset about that I don't notice you, happy trails, my friend. And I want to thank you for coming by, and my apologies to you. Yeah, Jen. Oh, it's in bad because, well, it seems like the latest trip was harder on the van than you last year with Jen. I have to say, Spanky, when Missy Jenn and I took the 7,631 mile journey, it was mainly, we never really went north of Kansas City. Okay, and then we kind of went down to the south and came along Texas. The roads are in better shape there, but let's say when you pull into Michigan and you come out of Indiana and you roll into Michigan, your car or your van or your truck is shaking. There are holes that are literally this deep in the road. When it rains, flash flooding in Detroit, there's cars that just roll into the puddle and they just stop. They're flooded out there. Poor drainage, clinkety, 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 clackety, clackety, clack, mile after mile of that. And just, you just have, your van is literally being shaken apart while you're on those roads. We didn't have that experience like Spanky when I came across, Nevada and up in the Sierras. The roads are so bad up around Donner Summit now. The concrete is so, worn. It's almost like a cobblestone up there now. Yeah, Tasha says, can you build me a box? Sammy Jacks needs a box too. Yeah, the infrastructure is bad. Detroit just simply doesn't have the money in Michigan to do the things that need to be done. You build the big infrastructure. Now your city is compressing in size. What do? You still got to maintain what you built, right? Yeah, from the snow chains, Colleen, they have just destroyed, and you get on that and you're hitting your brakes and your tires are wobbling back and forth. I know I need new front brake pads on the van badly. I need an oil change. Yeah, it's just any UFO sightings. We were in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and you can see it on the live stream, Sammy. Spanky Ham is there, and he says, what the hell? There's a fire in the sky over there. And I'm looking over, and this object's moving in the sky, and he's like, hey man, that's a plane on fire. And I kind of zoomed in, and remember, I'm only using a cell phone here, and damn, there was fire coming out of this thing. I checked the next morning, and I don't know what oh, you did find out what it was. Okay, Spanky is on the side chat. He's a Cheyenne, really cool guy that I hung out with. Get a new van. I'm not sure, Gil. I'd rather run this van into the ground because this, and Mallory Williams is going to love this. This is basically a Fiat van. Impossible to get parts for, but you can run this sucker into the ground. And this 2.4 liter multi-var engine was just a Trojan on the road, man. There wasn't any slowing it down. There wasn't any mountain that baby couldn't climb and pass trucks like they were nothing. Hey, how you doing, Janet? Nice to see you. Thank you for your kindness and stopping on the road. I was telling people on the 16th of August we will be out with the fishing, doing the fishing. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I can trade it in, but it's got a big crease on the side where some crackhead with a shopping cart rammed down the side of it. It's just ridiculous on there. Yeah, keep looking for my keys, Spanky. I must have walked 2 miles, 3 miles around the same place looking for my damn keys down there. Let me tell you what, guys. When you're 1,200 miles from home and you finished a nice dinner and you've had a great chooch with Spanky, and you go down to reach into your pocket and your keys ain't there, and there is a gigantic Cheyenne Days festival going on with a zillion people milling around, man, that is, you want to talk about a feeling that puts a cold shiver in your spine when you suddenly come to the realization, hey, I don't have my keys and I'm 1,200 miles from home. That is a really gut-wrenching moment. Then you come to the realization that, hey, my fucking van's parked on the parade route. There's no way they're going to let the van sit here, you know, amidst all the horse shit that the horses are going to be dropping in the lasso, yeehaw, and the buckle bunnies, and woo, hey, man, I can't start my van. I can't even get into my fucking van. I call the cops. They're like, hey, you know, you can't be in the parade. Sorry. We're going to tell you out. The good news is we're not going to charge you. We just drop it in this lot, you know, here. I tell the guy, drop it into Walmart. The guy's like, man, if I take your van and take that up on my flatbed carrier and drop that baby at the Walmart, even though it's a 24-hour Walmart, within 5 minutes, that manager is going to be on the phone calling me, and I'm going to be paid to come here and take your van out of the damn lot and the hell out of here. I'm like, oh, man, thank God Alpine had her place. Yeah, well, I will have plenty of stuff set up. You learn a lot when you travel 10,000 miles. Oh, thank you, Sammy Jackson. I love seeing your videos. Everybody knows I got a crush on Sammy Jackson. I never did find the key. Hey, how you doing, Katie? Nice to see you. Mallory got me wanting a Fiat SUV. She needs a sponsorship. I got to tell you this, you know, because even though I had a key guy come out, he was able to open the van door. And of course, it was in the lock. It was in the lock mode. Beep, beep. And of course, when he got the door open, it's bam, bam. Everybody's at the bars, and yeah, what's going on outside? Oh shit! It's Rosie. Okay, I got no way to turn it off. I'm ready to disconnect the battery, and the lockout guy's like, "Hey, you may not want to do that because you might not be able to reprogram this whole thing." I'm just sitting there looking around like, whose fucking car is that? Yeah, little rascal was not happy being violated by the locksmith. Yeah, I got a, you know, I don't have any sun where it really counts right now. I got this damn trucker. You cannot avoid it. When you're going west, that sun's going to be in your face going down. Your arm's going to be out. Your leg is there all day. And it's just sun, 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 sun. Echo Caradol. I know it was embarrassing, man. And the cop's like, oh, I'm so sorry, but we're going to have to tow your car. I'm like, are you really sorry? She's like, no. Get that fucking thing off of the parade route. I'm like, you know, I got down there that night and Alpine's like, where are you parked? And I said, I'm parked on Capitol Avenue. And she's almost like, nobody parks on you know, how did you get that spot? It's right next to the festivities, and other people are having to be coming on buses and stuff. I'm like, hey, it's the Rosie girl. It's Irish, right? Well, that really blew up in my face that night. So it was kind of funny. There will be, yeah, the nice familiar backdrop. I learned a lot of stuff. It feels strange to be at home. It's almost like I didn't even recognize. It's hot as hell in here, but I didn't even recognize. You know, I had to. like where's the Splenda for the coffee, or where's, where's everything? There's some things, there's work that needs to be done here. Oh yeah, okay, Mallory, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, that's it. Cobra John says, if I lose my key, I just use a screwdriver to hot start it. Well, Mark Handler says, it's unbelievable that you drove over 1,000 miles around Chicago and Detroit, and how much more in the other major cities. I actually put almost 1/3 of my miles in cities. You can't, like, the first night we're in Toronto, Marshall's like, oh, we got to go down to the Pride Parade. And he's like, I'll take the van down. I'll take the Lisa Marie. Okay, so we're in here. And he starts getting into the center of the city. And there's basically, the population of Earth is centered right there in Toronto, right? 6 billion people or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, Marshall, you got this 19-foot camper van, plus you got this 3-foot rack on the back of it. Where in the hell are we going to park this rig? Well, some girl pulled out on a scooter, and just the guy in front pulled out. He was able to park right there. But we determined that it would be easier to take little Rascal on our journeys. But we racked up some serious miles around Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee, not so much. Baltimore, I did a lot. Oh, you carry a spare in your suitcase. See, that's a good idea. Yeah, you need a bookcase in the back. A little bit of light reading, huh? Hey, me love you long time. Hola, Rosie, long time. Yes, I'm back on the Rancho. So I think if you're going to travel, you can learn from some of my experience, the things that worked brilliantly and the things that did not work, the things that you have to be super careful of. For example, I thought I was being very clever when I called Verizon, and I'm going to say Verizon was brilliant. Everywhere I went, Verizon was brilliant. I did live streams that maybe in an 8-hour live stream, I would, the spinning circle would come up, waiting to reconnect, right? Maybe that would come up 3 times within an 8-hour stream out in the middle of nowhere, okay? Verizon was brilliant. Brilliant. Unlimited data for me, $75 a month on my phone, not hotspot. But when I crossed that border into Toronto, and I'm like, what's this little R on the top of my screen? And it was, of course, Rogers Communications, which is in Canada. And suddenly I get this message from Verizon. Welcome to Canada. You'll be happy to know that all of your text and voice features work the same in Canada as the US. And then in the fine print, it says, you're entitled to 1/2 gigabit per day of high-speed data. I'm like, half a gigabit? I chew up 10 gigabits on a day with choo-choo and other stuff. Man, I was fucked right there. And Elvis, like, I told you so, you should have gotten this Sprint package. You have to understand the difference between data and 4G LTE data, okay? Oh, you heard T-Mobile and Sprint are merging. Mrs. Zombie, how are you, sweetie pie? Yeah, T-Mobile, the first trip that I took with Missy Jenn was all on T-Mobile, and I suffered on that. I had a Galaxy S5, they hand me up for my daughter, which I think is still around here somewhere. It did okay, but no stabilization. But damn, the T-Mobile just wasn't cutting it. What kind of phone do you have? John says Samsung is getting 5G next month. iPhone is, yeah. I'm at a 9 right now. I may step up to the 10. Should I replace the cracked screen or should I keep it for backup? It's a tough decision. Yeah, Janet says merge 2 crappy companies. What you get, 1 crappy company. That's usually the bottom line. Hope Jerry's doing well, Mrs. Zombie. So Verizon was brilliant. Yeah, how generous, a 1/2 gig, and then I'm trying the first night we're at some fucking Assyrian mall, with all these leering Arabic guys around, and nice, and they're all leering, and it's so gross walking through this mall, and they're like, well, I'm trying to buy data. All I'm trying to do is just buy data for my phone. Go into Bell Canada, and she's this beautiful Jamaican black girl. She's beautiful. She's taking me over to Canadian Tire. No, you got to get a prepaid Visa card in Canadian funds. You bring it back. Oh, no, you can't do that. I just want to buy some damn data, I just love Verizon. I kept it for the camera. The camera's great on it. But yeah, how you doing? Hey, Larson, how are you? You've been busy for the past couple months. Welcome back, sweetie. Yeah, Sears plus Kmart. Ling 10 Void, LTV Steel. Some of these, the old, I'm not going to get into all that, but good Lord. You learn a lot on the trip, but make sure when you go to Canada that you're really getting high speed. Yeah, Forever Friend, it was like most malls in America are like dying malls, right? Let's face it, everybody wants Amazon, right? You go into this mall and it is packed. There's not a seat in the food court, and it's all these groups of guys, and you don't really see the women around. They're over getting their nails done or whatever. And these guys are taking it as like a holiday and checking out everybody, and you can tell. And it just had a slimy feel to it. I wasn't used to that. Vicky Victoria, how you doing, honey? I just wasn't used to that, but I did learn a lot about Middle Eastern culture. I did learn a lot about, it explains a lot about Marshall to me, and a lot of his upbringing and stuff. Colleen, Alpine Lady was telling me some stories overseas. She actually lived in Saudi Arabia, and she lived in Israel for a time, and some of the lewdness that she encountered was almost beyond belief. I'm not gonna talk about it here, but it was super lewd. Yeah, I'm happy to be home. The fatigue is definitely hitting today. You can't do 2 big back-to-back driving days. I learned that. You may be good for 300 miles the next day, and that's it. Sugar Cane, how you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you back at the Rancho. I'm glad to be back, Sugar Cane. You sweetie pie. Yes, there's just no filter. It's a male-dominated society without a filter on it. But you go to the restaurants, the women are dressed to the nines, and they're lovely, and the food is good, and it's just, like I said, just one time. And I know Marshall gets a lot of crap, and he gives a lot of crap on YouTube, but he was kind of down in Detroit that late that first night. It had not been a good night or whatever, with the guy chasing us around or whatever, and the tire situation and all that. So the next night late night, we went over to the Ishtar restaurant, and when he walked in there and he saw the winged bulls on the wall and the guy pouring the tea, and I did a video of that, and they gave us free food because of the video the next day. But to see a guy like totally revel in his culture was such an amazing, it was almost like a lightning in a bottle moment for me to see him. His mood went from kind of down to just like, look at me, I'm in my element here. These are my people, the Chaldean Christians in here, and look at how the Muslims and Chaldean Christians get together. And it was really, I hate to say it, it was a really beautiful thing, that moment, to see that. I mean, I have to be honest. Cobra John says, I was in Riyadh and Jeddah for a brief time. Not a good place. Yeah, so there you go. Colleen said she lived in Turlock, second largest population, so she had a lot. Sandy Callard, why is Elvis so different, calm, and almost shy when he was with you? Number one, I'm I don't know, 24 years older than Marshall. You know, number one. So there's a natural, you know, I mean, he laughs and pokes fun at me and shit. You know, he thinks shit rolls downhill to me from him, that I'm below, you know, him. And it's also the fact that I'm usually, you know, think about this. Think about this, Sandy. He did not have time to sit around and twiddle his thumbs. Why? Because as he complained, Rosie was up early. Rosie had shit to do every day to build the box. And then we're going out, and I'm not going to waste a day here sitting with my thumb up my ass when there's Detroit, Chicago, and all these places to see. So he really didn't have time to, you know, cook up stuff. So that's really true. That's my best explanation. Goldie Khan, how you doing, honey? Good to see you, Hannah. Diane says Rosie Israeli restaurants here serve the same stuff as you went to, just about identical. Yeah, it'd be good, Diane. I'm looking forward to seeing you again down in SoCal. Yeah, I worked his ass. There's no time to sit around. I think that's really it, Sandy, was that every day was just jam-packed of, you know, you live in Chicago, and the first night he was complaining that Mr. X took me out. You know, we had that driving stream and a freaking beautiful downtown Chicago and along Lake Michigan. And, you know, I did the Lake Michigan cinematic cell phone ride and stuff. But we're out that first night, and I've been to Chicago before, you know, but it is epic to go down at nighttime and see the skyline. And he was kind of complaining that Mr. X never took him anywhere, and, you know, that Mr. X takes me everywhere. Cajun Kev, Rosie must be happy to be home. I'm happy to see Missy Jenn. You know, this whetted my appetite to what's out on the road. Missy Jenn looks fantastic. She looks healthy. She's more beautiful than ever, and she got stuff taken care of. There's some little more major things I've got to do here in the next couple of weeks, but I really enjoy. There's a whole lot of country out there that I haven't seen. What a trip it's been, huh, Quinny? Yeah, those views. Wasn't that something, Flan, that ride that night in Chicago? I was just astounded with the beauty of that. And I was so glad the last day that he said, hey, why don't we take a ride down Riverside Lakeshore Drive here? And I was able to get some video for the cinematic Lakeshore Drive, which I was really happy about. You can do a lot. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you need expensive camera gear to get some nice videos. They might not be cinema quality with perfect stabilization, but these days with the features in phones, this is why big camera sales are collapsing right now, because of cell phones are so good now. You don't need anything. Yeah, Niagara Falls. Thank you, Goldie. Yeah, Missy Jenn got a good break from my BS on the Rancho. I came back. Of course, the house is neat as a pin, right? My room up front looks like a bomb still hit it up there. You know, it's like it was left intact, like the body snatchers came and just left all the crap in there.
I vacuumed in there and picked that up.
Yeah, you did. Spanky says, I love my S9. I just wish it had optical zoom. Yeah, it's just too much to put into these cameras. Thank you very much. Thank you, Joni. Cobra San says your cinematic streams were great. Thank you. Saul Janvid, you have tractor. I sure do, Flan. I have tractor in the backyard. He had a Huawei's are banned in the U.S., so they're on the fighting line. But should I get the S10 or should I throw a new screen on this one? I have to decide that. It's 5 times optical zoom. Yeah, maybe they'll get straightened out. I don't know, Spanky. It's like the people suffer when they don't have choice. Thank you, forever friend. Thank you, honey. I want to say last night. Thank you, my love of crafts. I want to say last night, some people were very upset did I cross Nevada during the night. Number one, it's hey Kevin. My main rationale was I don't like to drive across basically what's desert and going to be broiling through the daytime. Okay, I broiled in the Central Valley coming down up the mountains of Reno. It was 110 degrees, even with the AC. And I don't like to run the AC much because I need an oil change and all that stuff. But my goodness, running at nighttime, 64, 65 degrees across Nevada, 424 miles. Just it seemed. Yeah, I know you were mad, Cobra John, but remember the night before I had gotten 11 hours of sleep. I had a 5-hour energy drink and a cup of coffee and went amok. Ain't nothing gonna slow me down. Oh, thank you, Forever Friend. Says you brought us some amazing footage of places a lot of us never knew. Be a day late, but still get there. I know, Cobra John, but you just don't know how good I was feeling. I was so rested the night before. I was so bummed out about the key, but I knew the key was on the way. And at 9 o'clock, I crawled into the bed. And the next morning, I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I just felt so refreshed that I felt strong. The Huawei's banned because of trade problems between the U.S. and China. Something about the technology that they bring in. China's monitoring and stealing people's data, so maybe they're protecting you on there. But it's a great phone. I don't have AC. Mine is both windows down, gone 7. There you go, Katie. And Katie's a Mississippi girl down there. So the heat didn't affect. There's Cobra John says, I know if I was your age, I'd probably do it too. Cobra John, we're almost the same age. Come on. You sexy Bonneville Salt Flats flyer out there. MB, nice to see you, honey. Thank you. The lack, the humidity doesn't bother me as much as it bothers Marshall, and that was a constant concern with the him always battling the humidity. To me, I grew up in Baltimore, so it was like, okay, it's not that, it's doable. I'd rather be like 90 degrees with maybe 70% humidity than 110 degrees and you just can't escape the direct brutal sun. Not even close. Got you by 15 years. Vegas this time is going to be a different game for you. Well, we'll see if D comes down or not. Darlene says, I've been wanting to ask you, you are always on the go, but are you ever just a couch potato? I've always been hyperactive all of my life. I was always the teacher's nightmare, the class clown. My first day in first grade, I don't know how I did it. I got to school. I had my little lunch bag, paper brown bag, first day of school. And you were supposed, since we couldn't really read, you were supposed to have a little animal cut out and put on your bag so you wouldn't grab Susie or Billy or Sally's bag, right? Well, when I went to look for my bag, there was one bag that didn't have an animal on it. Like I had a little chickie or something. The thing had fallen off. I walked right out the door to school in first grade. Now imagine this. And walked over hill and dale. And I don't know how I found my way. I got about halfway home and here comes the old janitor from the school in his Volkswagen Bug. It's like we got our first runaway, our ditching first grade and stuff. Yeah, just always hyperactive and never. I just focus and so on. There we go. Just hold on a minute. There we go. Focus. So I'm always been like that. I mean, my mother always had to get called to teacher conferences. I was always like not bad, but just the wild child, hyperactive and stuff like that. So I don't like to be, I don't ever watch TV. I watch maybe 5 things a year on TV, mostly sporting events. Otherwise, I like to be doing things with my hand. I like to be at the shop or finding other stuff to get into. Is D really doing a stream house? I'm not sure, Cobra John. I mean, generally he does what he says he's going to do. Yeah, the homeless are very different when they're hot. They become very aggressive. I'll tell you what, Chess, when I rolled in, I was shocked last night. We rolled into Reno, and look at the video last night, rolling into Reno, the Rosie way. That last 5 minutes rolling down South Virginia Street, it was like, oh, man, these streets are lit up. And, oh, wow, this ain't tours. This is like the local rats come out at night on the street. And there's people starting, when I turn off the stream, there's people starting to come up to the car at the light. And it's like, you know, it's freaky. I don't get the stream house thing D is doing as SLC. Stream house has, in my opinion, having really brought live streaming to the void here, I have a lot of experience with streams, but I'm not like Ice Poseidon, who has a lot of experience with streaming houses and things like that. And it's very, you need to have the right chemistry of people. You need to have people that are going to be natural and people that aren't, you know, that are going to interact, or else it wears thin. You remember when Dave's streaming house, the first hour was everybody wanted to get on stream, and then by the end, there wasn't any streaming at all. So Reno is freaky. Reno's still fun, but I wouldn't want to be on the streets after midnight. Okay, I'll just put it that way. There's a lot of very aggressive people with, you know, hot days. Just people get frazzled out here. There's very little shade in these towns. You can't sit up against a building or you get chased off. There's no trees. You know, it's very difficult. You hang out at the bus station, you get chased off. So people are very frazzled because of the heat. If you have a Ouija board, yeah, that's what a stream is saying. See, that's what I'm talking about. If you have a streaming house, you have a certain objective, like, well, this is going to be a streaming house at this renowned ghost house or whatever. Somebody contacts me from my subscriber base and they say, Rosie, look, I'm in Kansas City. I got this house. I want you to come in and I want you to spend the night at this house. Now, look, stuff happens here. I'm going to warn you. You're going to hear stuff. You're going to hear screams, doors slamming. You might feel yourself touched in the night or something like that. But feel free to bring some of your friends in now. Now you got a 24. You light the fire in the fireplace. You got your streams going. The house is kind of lit up. Now you got something that could be pretty cool. Patricia says, and Patricia, I did get your message today. Thank you, sweetie. How do you find a safe spot? And it is about batteries, by the way. I'm going to send you the direct address. How do you find a safe spot to boondock there at Reno? You know what? This van is, you could put this in front of the mayor's house. And he's not going to think twice about it. He's just going to think that's a work van outside. I parked right in the downtown. I went to bed. I had the view of the El Dorado Tower there, about a half a mile away, right there on the streets of Reno. I was parked just off of Liberty Street there. Nice level parking spot. Very nice. No problem. I have no problem. What I do is I'll either go to a 24-hour Walmart, and again, they'll chase the RV guys out. But if I pull in just a spot at the Walmart, nobody's ever going to worry about a van. Okay, a small little, nobody's ever imagining somebody would live and take that on the road. So you have that element of disbelief that it's below the radar screen. You can park that thing anywhere. So I never had an issue with anybody. Sound like spending, yeah, if you did a live stream from room 20. Rosie, but you refer to when the old time boy, forever in blue jeans, and not to be rude, Rosie, but you refer to yourself as Boyd when the old time Boyd swears. I don't know who old time Boyd is. Boyd was really born in the summer of 2015. If you were there, you're part of Boyd. In my mind, what anybody else says, I don't really give a hoot about. That's my definition. So there's people now that are claiming a Boyd that were nowhere in sight 2 years ago. So much less 4 years ago. Are you going to see Sandy when you go through Texas? Absolutely, positively. I hope to meet you too, Katie, when I'm rolling through. I don't know, Wendy Johnson. Why does Coach 9500 do you have something to make him hate? I guess being friendly with Marshall, self-loathing on his part because he's a trans chaser and, probably hates himself for that. Nice to see you again, Snickerdude. I can't get into the mind of these people. They're just, you see him looking at the camera and he almost looks possessed and just demonic when he's looking at it and stuff. He might be a nice guy, but we stopped our dealings a year ago. So I can't abide people that say they hate something and then they're doing it on the regular, on the nightly. So go figure that out. So that's all I can figure out. But Bergs is so hurt and sad. And Bergs is a case. Bergs is a case of somebody wants to recast history. I heard his hangout the other night. Why did I cut him off? Bottom line is this. And he says, I was a star of the panels. For a year and a half, I carried him against the wishes of many people on YouTube that I would hear from on my panels because he would come in, be drunk, be disruptive, and be booted off the chat and be calling me on the phone. If anybody was patient and kind to Bergs, it was me, talking to him on the phone when he would have his moments and stuff and always being friendly to him. Now, when they talk about money changes everything, when he saw that some other people were getting donations, tips, people like me, he wanted to make a rush for the money without doing the content. Which comes first, the content or the request for support? For me, I feel very proud of the content that I'm putting out. I feel it's when I take the time to do a cinematic video or I do a 5 or 6 hour live stream, something like that, not necessarily the driving ones, but the ones around Milwaukee, I'm bringing content. I have people that tell me on the side chat, I'll never come here, but now I saw Milwaukee because you live streamed. Wow, look at the Pabst Theater, or look at the City Hall of Milwaukee, or look at the Riverwalk. There's the Fawn statue. Wow, look at the way the bridges go up and down. That's bringing content. That's bringing content. So I never feel guilty if I tell people, hey, if you feel like you enjoyed the stream, taxes are never required. Feel free to give a tip, paypal.me.rosieokelley. And let me also add, in over 4 years of having over 600 people's information for Christmas cards, things like that, we've never, nor would we ever. And I'm the only one that can really probably say that has never doxed or released anybody's information ever. And I never would. People tell me confidence, I hold my confidence. I don't babble and talk and backtalk people. So there's something there for everybody. Now, in the case of Bergs, we got along good. But then the press started coming. Well, Norm gave you money, so throw a little my way. So on 4 different occasions, he threw money my way once, Bergs. 4 different occasions, I made donations to him. But it almost became... every time I would get a text message, and I kept all the messages as I always do. I wouldn't share them, but I could share the tenor of them. Then it became every day, you're delinquent, pay your taxes. The Elvis stuff started to come. And that was a real turnoff to me. Like, where's the content? Okay, you review a teriyaki restaurant, but you're there night after night after night after night. Where's the content? Okay, what basis do you have to ask people to pay it back? And Bergs has his style. He enjoys his hangouts in the car, and that's fine. But I'm saying, is that content that people are going to be apt to reach their wallets? Oh, wow, Rosie, I love the Niagara Falls. You spent the money to go out on the boat, and you took a couple hours to edit this and put some music on it, put it together, and we really felt like we were right there under the falls. There's a big difference. Thank you, Hop Frog. There's a big difference in that, And then it came to a point where I'm getting a text and the text with the drunkenness would come to very vile cursing, and then calling me Herman and all these other vile names, and just no end FU text on my phone and all that stuff. And then came the demand one day, that somebody's coming to visit me, and would you help contribute to the hotel? And I said, no, it's not my place to do that. Well, after that, man, it was Katie bar the door. The worst verbiage and stuff was sent to me that you've ever believed. And why? Because I was a nice person all the way along to Bergs. That's the reward that I got. So what's the point? Fight on Friday, make up on Saturday, fight on Sunday. I don't do that stuff. So, but I don't tear into his life. I don't follow it anymore. It's not my responsibility. But if you're going to report history, report the true and correct history. Don't shape the history to fit the current times. Yeah, that was tough on me. It just progressively became more grating and more vile, with more cursing, more misgendering and all that. And it's just like, how much of that are you going to take before you just throw up your hands and say, I don't care, I'm done with it? Yeah, too much drama. So I had to cut it off. But that's the reality. That's the reality of it. Just can't deal with that. And it's kind of his loss. I can't. I'm sorry. I take. This is where some people, commentators on YouTube, and I have a difference. They'll believe it's always wrong to ask for a tip or something like that, or ask for support on the channel. I don't agree. If you're out there bringing content and you're wailing away on the daily, you're doing a little more than just YouTube's pennies of AdSense. It costs money to keep the content coming, and it's very nice when people think enough to support that. Yep, road trip. I had a great 47 days. So I hope it, I wish Bergs the best in life. But you can't sit there and wonder and tell people you suddenly got cut off. Yeah. When week after week you do the nighttime bashing, the name calling, and the people that support you that have no idea of the things that are done. Yeah, Mr. Z. So I do wish him the best, but I just can't. But the claims that he made the channel, used, this guy fought like to get on panel any chance he could get. Then when he would get the boot, he'd get on the phone and call me. And you guys all remember all that stuff. I don't know, Cindy Lopez, frustration, his monetization got torpedoed, and there's no content for people to donate on. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like I say, at the end of the day, I do wish Bergs the best, but I cannot associate with somebody that curses a lot. I don't like a lot of cursing and misgendering, name calling, and all that. Parody's one thing. I never had a problem. As you guys have seen on this trip, lots of people use my content, whether it was just Darren or whomever or Boyd New, BNN. I didn't care. You know, I'm pretty easygoing. I don't strike people for, people used to think I did. Now they understand I never did. They feel a little bad about some of the misstatements that they made. Parody's fun. I like to laugh at myself. Right. I mean, if you can't laugh at yourself, then boy, it's going to be a tough play. No, I'm not going to define misgendering. Yeah, so that's the way I feel about it. So I do wish him the best. Hey, Dreamweaver, how are you? I'm going to try to get Streamlabs straightened out over the next couple weeks, because that's an even cooler way to have text to speech to shows that. You guys remember I had that gone for a couple months ago. That was great. Your message would come out, dun, 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 and you could participate in the stream and everybody around could hear it. You know, it was really a good thing. Misgendering meant that I don't consider myself male, but he will take it to the extreme to, you know, to play on that. You're too kind, but your fellow traveler, different story. He makes it too easy. You know, Marshall gets everything that's coming to him. That's his bag of tricks. That's his bag of goodies to deal with, not mine. He's got to deal with that crap. You know, he's got to deal with that. That's his responsibility. Oh, okay. Well, you bring your white shoes to Vegas and I'll take you out to dinner or whatever. I'll be here until the 14th. I'm not going to be there, Tess. I'm not going to be able to get down there until the 17th, which is the 18th of August, which is a Sunday. Hopefully, I can take off that Sunday and spend some time in Vegas. You're welcome, Mrs. Coelho. Wendy Johnson says, Rose, coach is telling everyone that you're just out for money. Like, I mean, what is wrong with money in life? Do you ever go to a movie theater and stand outside and scream at the ticket taker because they're charging you to go see the movie? Do you ever scream at your cable company when your monthly bill comes and say to them, hey, this should be free? Why should I pay for this? These people should provide this content for free. Hey, YouTube is free. There's a lot of things in life that take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And the human mind is pretty good about weighing what's deserving of it and what's not. People are not stupid on YouTube, okay? Some people believe they can be led by sheep and influenced, but at the end of the day, the average intellect's pretty high, at least on my side, Jack. And people know that quality content, you've got to put in a little bit to make it happen, okay? Now, do I collect taxes? No. Do I berate people? No. Maybe one time at the end of my stream, I'll say, hey, if you enjoyed the content, consider giving a tip. It keeps the wheels turning. That's it. Otherwise, every 15 minutes on my side chat is that information. There's definitely no feeling of anything negative when I'm giving money for the stuff that I do on the road. I feel like it's earned. And I don't care what anybody else says. There's certain people, a select one or two, that are just fixated on the daily. On me and Marshall, they're just fixated. They're just consumed, you know. But yet they don't bring any content worth note themselves. Yeah. So I'm saying, as you know, 99% of the people will never, 95% will never. But there is welcome to the channel as the 5%. That's the difference. Cindy says, bottom line, Rosie, you've taken bringing content to a whole new level. You stand head and shoulders above most. Thanks for the past month. Thank you, Cindy Lopez. Thank you, sweetie. And you know what the best part of that is, Cindy, is that I love doing it. I love doing it. You look at the streams, the cinematic videos, the meal reviews, showing you guys Middle Eastern food and all that stuff. There's nothing wrong. There's, you know, you don't go to a sporting event and yell it outside that it costs money to get in. You know, YouTube is entertainment, okay? And in a society that is a capitalist society, it's nice to have a little reward system that's built in that starts to reward people for the better they do. And I'm sorry, you know, I don't ever toot my own horn, but my 13 million views stands head and shoulders above anybody else on the boy. Why? Because I create content that people watch for years in the future, not drama that's dated, that's stale after a week, and nobody will ever have context in the future, nor care about what happened at this particular. They'll never rewatch it. Make content that people will watch for years to come. Niagara Falls, Ishtar Restaurant, you know, the Good in the Hood in Detroit. They'll be watching that for years. Thank you, Joni. I had a great time. Thank you, Jay. I'm offended for you when people always throw misgendering at you right off the bat. They'll always pick the lowest hanging fruit, you know. Yeah, I hope to meet Dee down in Las Vegas in August there. Yes, those who demand to donate and pay will not succeed because that's an immediate turnoff. Okay, you do things voluntarily. You put it out there just like a busker does on the street. We don't go down the street when somebody's playing music in the subway station and has their guitar case open. We don't kick it onto the tracks and say, F you, get out of here. You know, we understand that there's some creative process going on that we support. But remember, to a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So if they don't like you, they'll just use that as an additional, you know, hammer to strike you. Okay, the Chicago skyline at night. Korean barbecue and hot pot. I think I have before many times. I hope you find a place to review. I want to try that. Okay, Katie. I'm not sure, Spanky, what his schedule is. Yeah, Mr. Z's like, you have so much content from this trip, I can't keep up. Yeah, you're always paid for your work. Sandy says, we've seen places we would never have time to see or go. Thank you, Rosie. You made it happen. No, Sandy Callie, you made it happen with some of the epic challenges. And you know what? Because of you and your support, the Eloise Insane Asylum, Captain Napkin, how you doing, beautiful? Wow, nice to see you. Yeah, this is my dress actually here. Because if somebody like Sandy Callie just steps up and says, Rosie, I got a challenge, these people are going to love hearing about, you know, America's most haunted and storied insane asylum, the Eloise Asylum in Detroit. I'm thinking to myself, oh, God, you know, really? But because of her stimulative efforts and putting a live stream together, you can just see over time that viewership just goes and goes and goes on something like that. So that's the beautiful thing about, I really call them patrons, but not Patreon. I'll never have a Patreon on YouTube and tell people you'll get the special videos. You'll get to see the top down, you know. You know, I'm going to do a special video just for you Patreon members. I'm like, okay, well, here we are. Now, I do support some people on Patreon. Okay. Thank you, Hippie Peas. Thank you, sweetie. I can't believe Captain Napton is here. What a dream. Yeah, Mallory said the hammer nails thing is so true. If they like you all as well, if they don't, they hammer wall to wall and floor to floor. That's it, Mallory. And yet the red team today is the blue team tomorrow, and the blue team tomorrow is the red team, whatever. Yeah, we know Humpty Dumpty, you'd show up. Well, I know. Learn to love it, baby. That's all I can say. Because I got a lot of people that give me a lot of support. Hey, Tara Glam Spy. And I'm glad that it tears you up, Humpty Dumpty. That's my greatest joy in life. Yeah, it's all right. I don't really care. Humpty Dumpty shows up from time to time. So I actually know who it is. Yeah, I'm glad I'm home too. It was a really epic trip. And I really like that. I had to write that saying down to quote later, sweetie. Yeah. And remember what the random trucker, a great guy, once said on my channel. The closer you are to being over the target, the more fire you get. So the closer you are to target, the more fire you draw. So that's true. Chooching on Jupiter. That's it. Yeah, the rascal. There's Random Trucker. What was it, Random Trucker? Put that in the side again, man. That was like the greatest quote of 2019. Put that line out again, Random Trucker, man. You rocked it. You rocked it. Yeah, road trips can wear you out. Yeah, we got to get into room 20. I don't know, Sandy. What projects are they doing the Rancho? I've got a leaky irrigation system. The front lawn is drying up here, which I fought hard for 2 years to bring back. There's the intercom system thing fell off the wall here. There's a little touch-up painting that needs to be done. So it's going to be a busy 2 weeks. Jay says, Rosie, why did Elvis not help you build he did help me build the box. Do you know how many trips to the hardware store Elvis soloed down and picked up stuff and carried these sheet goods out, crawled under the carrier rack in the back to take measurements, worked like hell to figure out a security configuration for it. He was not slacking. He may not be skilled with a saw, and let's face it, I would have rather had a table saw to do my cuts, okay? But all in all, it turned out really well, and he did. Here's Room Jenny said, I have work to do, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's right, Humpty Dumpty. I never made a dime off Adult Friend Finder. I made money off of Cam 4. What's the best thing about being home? I'm looking right at it right here. Okay, thank you, honey. That's the best part of being home is right here.
I don't know what you're using as a blanket.
What did I have?
There's nothing there.
Well, I had some things there that I didn't take them with me. You mean in the car? You mean in the van? Yes?
I don't know.
Do you mean in that room, in that bed, or in the van? I have stuff in there. I didn't take it with me.
There's nothing there.
It's impossible. No, I didn't. I only took the sleeping bag and a blanket. That's it. How you doing, Marshall? So yeah, let it be said that Marshall contributed a lot financially. Somebody tried to twist it tonight that he said Rosie estimated the box would cost blah blah. The box ended up costing about $140 altogether on that. Let's see. Yeah, Missy Jenn is loved. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the best part of coming home is seeing Missy Jenn and that smiling face. Of course, Georgie could care less whether I'm here or not. The best part of being home is a hot cup of noodles. And Mallory, don't say hot here today. We're just roasting. I came down from the Sierras, Mallory, into the California Central Valley. And by the time I got to Davis, which is a college town, UC Davis, it was 110 degrees on the thermometer. I'm from San Jose. Have you ever done Bay Area chooching? I have. Just saying, I've done a lot. Okay, thank you, honey. I've done a lot in Oakland. I've done some San Francisco chooches with Tara. Yeah, 110 degrees. I have the screen. I took a picture of it. Yeah, Davis gets hot, and I'll tell you what, people were friggin' frazzled down there. Yeah, the misgendering, Mark Dodge, I'm not too concerned about that because they only hurl that as an insult. It's no worse than, it's on the same par of calling somebody the N-word or something. I don't put it on any different plane. They're only calling you that to insult you, okay, or me. Oh, Captain Napton says, when I was young, I took a trip to Davis and had a lot of fun. Well, guess what, Captain Napton? You're still young. All right. Yeah. You're still young and you're still hot. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Davis does get that hot down there. I haven't followed Dave, and Dave showed up on my stream last night for the first time in 6 weeks. I haven't followed any of the nonsense that you involve yourself in on the daily and pass off as content on YouTube. It's hot in San Diego. Johnny Wad says, "Hey Ash, where the hell you been, honey?" We reeled Ash in from the drama world there. Woo! Good to see you, Ash. Yeah, the Cowboys have manners. So I stepped into that bar, the Albany bar, that first night in Cheyenne, and I swung the camera around, and there were good-looking cowboys and buckle bunnies and everything. I thought, you guys got to see this bar scene. Joey D, the traffic was horrendous on 80 going westbound. Was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. There were RVs busted down. There was a Walmart semi that was coming down the mountain from Reno. His brakes were on fire. It was terrible. Terrible. It was a terrible day out there on the road. Terrible day out on the road. I also want to take a minute to thank my moderators here for the wonderful job that they do. There's nothing you can do about it, Humpty Dumpty. It's not in your hands. So you would like to think it is, but it's not. And also, if they're never monetized again, this is going to make your night, Humpty Dumpty. I'm getting plenty of support. Let's see. It's 113 in Mesa. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Hot brakes, the worst smell ever, but these brakes were smoking like crazy. And this guy was rolling up on people too. And people aren't really that cognizant of what's going on in their rear view mirrors. So it's a different story. You know, when your brakes are on fire, you're in front of a trucker, you don't know, you might see some smoking behind, but this guy's things were smoking like crazy. I got home, I stopped to see the boss and Janet. I got there at about 4:30. I guess I got home about 6:30 tonight. Thank you, Johnny West. Thank you, Johnny West. I appreciate that. All right. Well, anyway, guys, I'm not going to draw this out too much longer. I want to thank you for being along tonight, being on the channel for the whole trip. I'll have Missy Jenn on here. I have presents for her. Presents came for us. So I'm looking forward to that. Jay says, Rosie, you coming, Rosie, down to Tucson? Yeah, or down there. I hope so. Bobby's doing pretty good. I got to get Bobby to eat more, though. He's skinny as a rail. Typical Sunday. It was terrible. Yeah, thanks, Humpty Dumpty. Why don't you buy a new name? Because you're just you're like a cockroach running across the floor. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for being along. I always ask my mods to stay on till one of them the last minute just to clean up any crap that comes on. So thanks so much. Thanks for being along, everybody. Woo.